is why Solana will reach a new all-time high very soon. What we can see over here is the high time frame chart for Solana, and guys, this chart is looking extremely primed as well. What we can see over here is the 3-day range. This is the previous bull market range. We can see the start of the previous bull market impulse formed our first pivot. Then we formed another pivot over here, the second pivot for the range low, and we formed the third pivot for a range high over here. Guys, look at the respect of these range levels. Respected over here, beautiful respect over here and over here and over here for the mid-range. Then this quarterly level of the range is providing resistance, huge support, resistance, support. If we go to the daily time frame, then we can see that the mid-range once again over here the past couple of weeks was resistance. Then we reclaimed the mid-range over here, it provided support, and we started impulsing towards the upside. Now we know that when we look at a range, if we see a deviation of the range low and we have an untapped liquidity pool above the range high, technically speaking, after a deviation of the range low, you should expand towards the range high unmitigated liquidity pool. Now what we see over here is that we have that deviation of the range low. We even, if we zoom in, form a beautiful second deviation, and that second deviation took out very important sell liquidity that was resting over here beneath this low. Then we reclaim the range low, then we get a perfect retest of that range low right over here, and then we expand higher. Now we know that after a deviation of that range low, in order to get that expansion towards that range high liquidity pool, we need to flip the mid-range. And around the mid-range, guys, is where we saw some beautiful price action behavior for Solana. Because if we zoom in onto this mid-range area, we can see that over here, Solana formed a high, then a higher low, higher high, but then we form a lower low. This lower low took out a lot of important sales liquidity that was resting beneath this low over here. And after taking out that sales liquidity, we expand higher and we get a valid shift in structure over here towards the upside. Now after that valid shift in structure, that was the reclaim of the mid-range. We start opening and closing a lot of candles over here above the mid-range, confirming that reclaim and confirming this valid shift in structure over here. Then if we zoom in even more locally over here, we can see that we have a low time frame range that was being formed over here that led towards a sweep of the range low over here, and that sweep of the range low tapped into the mid-range level. Now the tap into the mid-range level resulted in a pump towards the upside that gave us a shift over here. Then afterwards we had sell liquidity resting over here. We sweep that sell liquidity, and as you guys can see, at the sweep of the sell liquidity, I personally executed a beautiful long trade on Solana that is still running in amazing profits. Have I shaved any profits? I have shaved zero profits, because I do believe that the higher time frame should lead to even more expansion, and then we should be reaching new all-time highs relatively soon for Solana. Over here, as always, you can also see that I gave the exact entry point in our Discord server, guys. The link can be found in the description down below. Now let's continue with the analysis on Solana and see what will be next. Now when we look at the volume profile of this entire range, we can see that the most volume was being traded around that range low. Why is the most volume being traded over here? Because this is where people are accumulating their long-term positions. This is where smart money is absorbing the sell and short pressure and building their long and spot positions. That is why the most volume is coming in over here. But also we can see that the area where we are at right now, there's barely any volume, guys. There's barely any resistance. I wouldn't say it's thin air. I think we still have crucial resistance around that quarterly level over here, which is also where we have this valid supply area, right? I think that's still crucial resistance for Solana, but I think besides this area of resistance over here, I think if we do get a strong bullish weekly candlestick closing, I think we have almost a clear path towards a new all-time high for Solana, because the new all-time high is exactly where we have that range high liquidity pool. Guys, you can now also trade Woo, Bitcoin and other crypto pairs on PrimeXBT. They are now finally offering crypto futures trading alongside trading commodities, Forex and more. Definitely one of the most trusted exchanges out there, and if you want to sign up, make sure to use our link in the description down below and you will get a 7% deposit bonus. On the weekly time frame, we can also see that we are breaking out above two crucial weekly levels, right? This is the weekly level that led towards this big drop off to the downside, and this is the weekly level that led towards a huge expansion to the downside during the lunar crash over here, right? So two crucial weekly levels that initiated strong impulses to the downside, and currently we are close to opening and closing a candle above this weekly level and close to closing a weekly candle above this weekly level, right? And if we manage to reclaim these two weekly levels, as long as they hold, we should start expanding higher towards the next weekly level. Where is the next weekly level? Exactly around that supply area that I just mapped out. Exactly around also, if we map out the range, the quarterly level of resistance. So guys, crucial weekly levels that align perfectly with the mid-range of this previous bull market range. Important weekly level that aligns with this quarterly level over here, which is the crucial resistance area to break for Solana to reach a new all-time high. But don't forget that we are currently trading above the mid-range. We flipped the mid-range into support. We are close to flipping the mid-range and these two weekly levels on the weekly time frame as well. And the flip on the weekly time frame would give me confirmation for at least a test of the quarterly level, but eventually also for a test of the range high level. Now you're probably wondering, okay Guru, but if I'm not positioned into a spot position or into a leverage long position, how am I going to position myself? When we look at the chart, and like I said, if we map out that very important weekly level over here, that quarterly level and that supply level, then we have identified a crucial resistance area for ourselves. Now what you want to do is that you want to wait for the price to reach this area. We are probably going to see some resistance over here, and then around this area you are going to look for bullish market structure. So this over here is not a valid shift in structure. Why? Because the high that we break did not bring us to a new low compared to this low that in that case will bring us to that high, right? So it's not a significant high to break. So instead what you want to do is wait for the price to, for example, sweep that high, then make a fresh low. By making that fresh low, this high will turn into a significant high over here. Wait for a break above that significant high. Maybe by breaking that high, you also flip the quarterly level and that supply area, and then you have yourself a very easy retest level to target that range high liquidity pool. Then you can play that retest on this quarterly level into that previous supply area with your invalidation beneath that local low and your target being the range high liquidity pool. Now that offers a beautiful RR trade of approximately 3.39. If you want to play it in spot, that's offering a 30% increase. The second way to position yourself on Solana is to wait for a pullback, and a pullback should be beneath this low over here, because I think many people, if we identify the 1 hourly time frame, have been longing because of this fake break of structure and put their stop beneath this low over here, which means that we are engineering important and valid sell-side liquidity. Now we are going to mitigate the liquidity pool and find some bullish structure over here, forming a lower high, lower low, breaking through this significant high. Why is this a significant high? Because this high brought us to a new low compared to this low that brought us to that high. Then you can play the higher low. So two ways to execute a Solana trade if you aren't positioned yet. Either wait for an attack of that crucial resistance area around $200, wait for bullish market structure and a flip of that area to position yourself long. That's the aggressive way. Or wait for Solana to take out the sell-side liquidity that I just mapped out for you guys. Inside of that sell-side liquidity pool, you wait for a mitigation, you wait for bullish structure to be formed on a 1 hourly time frame inside of that sell-side liquidity pool, and then based on a bullish flip of that market structure on a 1 hourly time frame, you position yourself long all the way towards that range high area. That way you could potentially position yourself like this if we get that bullish market structure shift, and if we then target that range high, you're looking at a 61.81% increase based on spot and a 12.5 RR trade based on leverage. So waiting for this scenario offers a higher probability trade with a bigger potential reward. Now if you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure to smash up the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We need one more subscriber for 2,000 subscribers, and then I'll catch you guys on Monday's video. Ciao, ciao.